here this beautiful Monday morning. I have my nice hot cup of tea with me, and I wanted to give you guys an update just on my basically my planning system. So you can see this is a little bit different than what I have been working on. And I want to show you something new that I have made a decision to go ahead and add into my kind of planner, I guess my planner process, my planner system. So this here is what I've done is basically a reading journal and also my work planner. I'm going to go into this in a bit, but first I do want to show you guys this. Hey guys, this is Heather, the Cozy Creative Teacher, and I'm just here. I have my nice hot cup of tea right over here, and I just have some kind of highlighters and my pen. This is just a general 0.5 pen from Amazon, but I have added something a little different and new into my planning system. I'm going to put my cup of tea right over here, and this is my A5. It is an A5 folio, but it's a little different. This is an A5 ring binder folio, which is pretty cool. This is just a little pen holder, little pen pouch that I got from Archer and Olive. It's just holding some things I use, some highlighters and markers. But I'm going to open this and I want to show you how I'm using it. And let me walk you through a little bit of the pieces, just the different sections that I have in this planner, and why I just feel like it's kind of a big game changer for me in terms of what I'm doing. Now, these are just some notepads from Cocoa Daisy, some sticker kits, just little things that I use. I just keep them kind of hidden and tucked away in there. This is some vellum that I just used as a cover, a little folder here. Actually, inside of this card, I've been wanting to put the date, but I don't have to do that. But look, I just want to show you guys what I've done. I've kind of just set it up. I've added a few, like, you know, nice cardstocks, page. This is the Moxie Life Daily. I don't think they have this actually anymore in Moxie Life. Or I think that they're kind of discontinuing them, but I had them, so I felt like I wanted to like take a stab at it and use it at least for the first quarter of the year to see how it helps. Now, what this system is primarily is, of course, you have your monthly calendar, you set it up, and which is what I did here. However, it does give you your weekly actions similar to the Moxie Life goal setting, you know, the flagship planner does. However, what it does a little differently, which is why I like it, is it helps me to actually, it's a day to actually set up my day in the form of a checklist. And I'll show you how I've been able to kind of break that up for myself. Yeah, I decided to just try that. These are just some notes that I have for myself. I'm gonna put them over here. I decided to go ahead and try this system, and I'm gonna try it for the next 3 weeks in January, and then I'll just continue it throughout the month, throughout February and March. But you know, it gives you a little weekly, a very small space just for some ideas in terms of weekly ideas. But I love the checklist. I love the checklist, guys. I have been going back and forth, and I'm going to show you what I mean. This is my business planner, and this is the month of January. But if you can see, right, because it just focuses on my business, there's like not really much for checklist. I kind of have to chunk it out, and you know, it's more like notes. And if you can see, even then, as I set up the dailies, they're all kind of notes, and I have to grid it. It is very different, and I love it. I love using like my other planners. They have their own function, but I think this is very special for me. This is what I'm going to be taking with me to work every single day, and I kind of already started that. And here's the thing, guys, I don't necessarily go do the same things, focus on the same things that I need to do every single day. Some days it's maintenance. Like over here was specifically maintenance. Over here was afternoon work. Over here was things that I had to do in my home, you see. So I'm able to actually like use this system in just different ways. But really, I think I needed a daily checklist and something small. I've been trying to go minimal this year, so choosing something small to really like just work on navigating my goals, making sure that I hit my goals. Am I still going to use my huge Moxie Life flagship planner? Yes, because that is like my weekly actions and my monthly reflections. Even though I believe this planner, does it have that? This planner has the same thing, but the flagship also helps me to kind of see things in a more wider scope because it's weekly. It's just a weekly setup, planner setup, versus this is the dailies. And I think what I really am needing these days is the dailies, because I'm forgetting things a lot. And I realized I realized last week that I have to do something because I'm forgetting like all the things that I have to do in one day. And going from my business planner, then to my personal planner, then to the kids planner was not working. I needed it all in one place. So ergo, I decided to use my checklist. So I'll just show you. I only used it 3 days last week, and I still have these. So what I'm going to basically do is just pull them into the next week so I don't waste the paper. But I split it. I'm still playing with like how I can do the layout. I was trying to just set this up quickly so that I could use it. But look, I set it up for my school, my online community responsibilities, my daily routine. I decided to write out exactly what I want to do in my daily morning routine, and I checked off what I was able to do, which is pretty cool because I get to see all on one page, right? Everything that I'm focusing on. Some personal goals that I listed for the week, some YouTube goals, my creative goals, my financial December budget, which by the way, it is checked off, but I didn't do it on January 14th. I did my December budget yesterday, but that's okay. My Access EA. Now here's the cool part is that because I'm I'm a cross-campus staff member. I am also slightly teaching as well. So what I had to do, check LP, that's lesson plans. So I have to also do some lesson planning as well. So what I did was I can even make a little square here or section off an area on my daily pages for my job, which is pretty cool. So now I don't even have, like, I have a big hefty planner that sits on my work desk, but I don't take it to like the different campuses with me during the week. So I feel like this is kind of having something small like this and sturdy. It's very lightweight, and having something like this, I'm able to really like just kind of, I can use it in multiple ways. So here's the next thing what I did. You could see in my maintenance, I had some maintenance that I had to work on. Again, my YouTube tracker, school, personal, access. I always have to, I'm able to add all these things that I need to do. Here's some fun. I bought new lamps last week. I needed new lamps for my room. Here's January 16th. I had EA work is my job. I call it EA. That's my acronym for it. And these are all the things I had to do. I actually did these so I could check them off. I definitely know I worked on schedules. I called moms, a 9:30 move car. I had to do a lot of different stuff, and I took care of those responsibilities. So, and I also did my VSLs. I've been having to do a few VSLs, and I took care of all of those. And then I also did my weekend budget. So you can see like I'm using it as as daily tasks. So it's a daily task planner versus like the whole flagship Moxie Life weekly. I'm going to open this. Excuse me. I'm going to pull this one out. All right. Maybe I could use this as a month in review page. This is going to be like the weekly actions, and I'm going to go ahead and start with this because I don't want to waste the pages. So I'm going to go out, close this, and there. See? So, it essentially works as the flagship planner. The only thing is it's a daily task. It's your daily sheets actually. And it's only for 3 months. I'm going to try this out for 3 months, see how it works. I think there's a few planner companies that actually use this method. And I've been seeing a lot of people on YouTube use it. And it just seems like it's very useful, very functional. And it's something so lightweight that I can take with me all the time. So I can't wait to show you guys how else I'm working on my new system. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. All right, guys, so now I want to talk to you a little bit about my update for planner number 2. And this was my personal folio. This is, I guess, the color dust blue. The leather is from Planner Perfect. I just had to take a sip of my tea. So basically, let me show you how I've been using this. So I guess this is kind of like a planner update video. These Planner Perfects, they work perfectly. The only thing is that the elastic is so thin for this specific planner, and I think I already had one band already rip off. But let me walk you through how I'm using this planner. And I'm making I'm using whatever I have for the first quarter, which is the first 3 months. It's already mid-January. And I think at the end of that, I'm going to make a determination on what stays and what goes. Because I feel like it's only fair to use it for a certain amount of time before I make an actual judgment. So this is the January 2026 Planner Perfect. And I'm going to show you how I've been using it. How I set up, so of course I set up my monthly calendar here. And how did I set up my goals? I kind of gave myself overall goals of what I wanted to focus on for the month of January. So here was about planner setup, my personal routine and schedule, because I felt like the first 2 weeks of January was kind of crazy. I'm gonna put this one over here because it's falling out. Actually, this one as well. Let's see, my financial goals. I wanted to kind of set up some things with my my budget. I have a budget planner, but it's like a big spreadsheet workbook, so it's not in a physical book. And then of course, start focusing on reading and journaling and creating a rhythm. So you could see I didn't really write too much for goals because these are just kind of some broad areas that I wanted to hit. Of course, I started with 2026. I started to think about meal planning. This will get filled out today because I have to, I'm going to BJ's. That's for my BJ's order. And you can see I started to start to think about what I want for my morning flow and my evening routine. And that's kind of what I want to write out. The rest of these are blank. See, so what's nice about Planner Perfect is that there's lots of blank pages between every week, but I sometimes feel like it's too much for me to use. You know, and how I've started using this is like, I kind of use it as a recap of my day. I script a little bit of what I'm going to do or what I intend to do, but lots of times I'm noticing like, hey, I just go back and it's almost like memory keeping, which is okay too. So here's the second week, of February. You could see a lot of this gets filled out like after the fact when I remember everything I did. And sometimes you could see there's so many pages that I didn't fill out. This was last week. And I scripted a little bit, definitely a little bit more last week. And what I did to help myself keep track of it, I just listed the days. So, which was really nice. I actually started like doing a little bit more decor. And then I still haven't filled out Sunday and Saturday and Sunday yet. And then I am doing a full setup, but that's not in this video. I just wanted to give you a recap of how I'm doing with my planner so far. This is the January planner. This is just the yearly. So it's just basically a 1 year planner. It's just kind of, you know, it's just like a very brief overview, but I'm able to list all of this is like the calendar for my kids and their school events, dentist, winter formal, those kind of things, nails, dentist appointments, you know, different stuff like that. So I list that here. This is just a menu list. And I have 2 more pages. And remember, January is not over yet. We have a good almost 2 weeks in January left. So this will definitely get filled out. But you could see that I kind of wrote here just about some notes about what I can't forget to get done. And this is a menu list that I know that the kids are always asking me. So for example, fries, mac and cheese bites, milk, cheese, pasta, and meat. It's just, you know, I try to use it more in functional ways. You know, it's a personal note taking. So it helps me to kind of keep track. I may have to actually take this one out now because it broke. So I could see that I'd have to like open it up again, but I love the color. It's, you know, I picked the blue one because it's January and the month of January is that soft blue color. So it's very helpful. Now let's go to, this is my morning journal pages and also my trackers. So I want to give you a little update on that. I use the Amy Plans things. You know, winter woodland kit just to do all the decoration and to use all the trackers. I don't really do anything on the calendar because the calendar is in my other planner. This is some just generic January goals. Here's January gratitude, and you could even see sometimes I do forget, but I like that there's like a little place that I can always go to when I do remember to write my gratitude. Here's a self-care bingo, and I've already started marking it. What I do want to do is take a few of these prompts and use them in my morning pages. Here's my January habit tracker. This I'm having the most fun with, and it's because I'm using the colors to really like, I feel like I see where, you know, see how I'm doing with specific habits that I'm trying to build. So for example, scripting daily, reading is really making an improvement for me, and journaling. You can see I'm journaling almost every day. I missed January 6th, but the journaling has really been so impactful for my life. So I just feel like this is a good process. This is definitely good. And again, I'm not tracking so many habits. These are the 4 main ones. And home lunch, I've been trying to do well and much better with, like, you know, having lunch bringing lunch from home. I'm not too good with that. That's what I would call a stretch goal, because a stretch goal is something that's a little more challenging for you to kind of like, you know, accomplish. Here's my sleeping tracker. As you can see, I'm more steady with terms of waking up from 11 o'clock p.m. to 6 o'clock a.m. That's my sleeping block. And it looks like throughout the majority of the month of January, that's where I'm sticking to, which is amazing. I think January 1st to the 4th, I think it was just me getting back to the routine of vacation and, you know, you staying up late because, you know, New Year's Eve and things like that. So I think that I just, I was a little more tired around that time, but I think now I kind of got back in my routine, and this generally is how my routine works. So, which is pretty cool. My tracker for outdoor like routines or yoga or walking, not so great. I only have 4 out of 19 days. Today's the 19th, and you know, I'm not done yet, but the day's not over yet, but I've only done it 4 times. So this is good though. I see what I'm doing and I see what I'm not doing, which is great. And then this is my reading challenge, and this is my reading every night. I have actually been reading much more, so I'm very happy about that. And then these are my morning pages. So some days I am just rocking it out with writing notes and just stories to myself, and you know, just different things to help me with my mental health. And this has been a game changer. I have truly enjoyed using the Planner Perfect journals as morning pages. That really has been a game changer. And now let me go into my journal. This is a little, I think this is more like a personal journal, creative writing maybe, or prompts, journal prompts and different things like that. This is from Coco Daisy. The reason I got this, I decided to start purchasing from Coco Daisy, was because first of all, they are a you know, it's a woman-owned, female-owned business. And I like that, you know, I like that you can order it and you're not paying the extra tariffs and things like that. And then I just thought it's really so aesthetically beautiful. It says January writes in quiet ink, soft, slow, and full of promise. And I'm going to tell you right now, with all the snow, I'm feeling this. But you can see what I do is I write every day of the week. I do write like a little, you know, just a little things, just a little comments or things about my goals for the month of January. I do write out some notes. Here I did the same thing, but you can see I didn't fill out every single day. But I am trying to do like one thing a day that I enjoyed, or one decision I made, which is pretty cool. That's how I started to play with the idea. The only thing is that for me, it's about the time, the time that I put into making these. But the way I thought about using this specific A5 Coco Daisy planner is just like almost like, if you ever heard of like not a gratitude line a day, but kind of something good that you worked on throughout the day that you felt accomplished. So I'm focusing on things that it's like, so for example, on Wednesday the 14th, today I followed through with focused work and not really planning as much. I had more time actual like working. Today, on the 13th, today I made a decision to focus and push personal growth and not be behind. So it's like little things that I feel like I'm due, like every day that I do that I feel like, hey, snaps for you, and write about it. So just one thing a day that I'm happy about in terms of growth. That's how I've been kind of using these pages. And this is just kind of an overview of the week and how I'm feeling and what I want to grow in. So it's like a personal kind of growth, journal. Oh, and I've also thought what I could do and what I've played with is choosing 2 words to describe my day in the calendar pages. So, for example, exhaustion and accomplished, exhausted and reflective, productive but busy. So I'm trying to pick just use this calendar page as words to describe, how I'm feeling or how my day went, how my day was, what was my workflow like. These are 2026 resolutions, which I didn't really have a resolution page. So I thought that would be cool. And you could see that I'm just kind of slowly adding more to it, which is amazing. Yeah, so I'll read a few of my resolutions. I don't mind. 5:30 a.m. routine, evening reading routine, healthy rest for 7 to 8 hours a day, exercise routine, strength building, a new Mac for my business, planner perfect. My dream is to be like kind of an ambassador for like maybe at least 1 or 2 planner companies. And I would love to do it for Planner Perfect, just because I just love the aesthetic of the journals. 12 books a year. My goal is to read 12 books for 12 books this entire year, which is 1 book a month. Financial planning, that's a big thing for me, and I feel like I really had a strong start to that. Now over here, what I did was Cocoa Daisy has all these different, when you buy a Cocoa Daisy kit, they have little, headers with different titles and topics. And I thought maybe what I could do is put the headers on different pages and write about the word that's in the header. So here I wrote about meal planning, just my notes and ideas, and I can add on as the month goes by, different challenges I'm facing this month, things that make me feel warm and cozy. Binge watching, what am I binge watching? So you can see it's certainly it's very similar to almost memory keeping. And I stopped there because I wasn't sure what to put in this one, but I know here I'm going to write about something that's noteworthy. Here, what makes things feel like silent and calm for me. Here, different traditions. Here, feeling things that make me feel joy, keeping things simple in my life. So you can see I used a lot of Cocoa Daisy actual headers, and they're going to be almost like prompts. So I guess this is almost like a personal journal keeping for me, but on a monthly basis. And I feel like if I can find a really good way to use this so that it's not overwhelming, I think this is going to be a fabulous addition for the year. So this is something that I feel like I've actually had fun with it, because I can be creative and do a little bit of scrapbooking style stuff with it, or scrapbooking style projects with it. But I can also kind of do something different with the pages that's not your typical planning and note-taking and checklists and things like that. It's just something that really speaks to my growth. As you can see, I'm not even done decorating the back, but I feel like this is really definitely a keeper. This one and the Planner Perfect. I feel like I'm enjoying those aspects of planning. And then my last planner, well, I'll actually show you the 2 that I have added. And I know that you're gonna say that's too many planners that you are using, or that's too many planners in your whole system. But let me explain why I have them. Now, this planner is my reading planner. Okay, so I told you I'm reading 12 books a year. So January, the book I'm reading is Know Your Worth. So I actually set it up to specifically list the books that I'm reading, and these are I'm trying to list, if I remember, how many minutes I read for each night. And I do have to backtrack because I know I've read more than this because I'm about halfway done with my book. But that's what I thought this would be really cool to do. And then if I go to the weekly, what I went ahead and did, I've been playing with time blocking when I read, which is pretty cool. I've been trying to like my vision book, which is, it's a visionary book that like you envision like your dream life, time blocking, creating a quote page and an extra page. So this is the weekly. I'm playing around with how to use this. This is an entirely new layout for me. So I'm trying to think, maybe I should section it in terms of like the chapters of each book and something I learned. I could try, I think that's what I might actually try for this week. But here's MLK Day. So I'm going to try to section it off, maybe by section it off by different like ideas that I like from the book of the month. And then if I turn to my personal page, what I'm doing here is I'm setting up a certain so the first book of the month I've read, Know Your Worth, well, the first book of the year. So this is book number 1 and my goal is 12. So every time I reach, every time I start a new book, I'm just going to list it as number 2, number 3. And then here is going to be kind of quotes. I want to highlight like really amazing quotes that I feel like inspired me within the books. I haven't done that yet because I haven't finished the book yet. But I feel like this is like a nice and sturdy and it's small enough. I feel like it's not overwhelming. And it'll be like a nice way to kind of keep the memory of every book I read for the year versus something like a big hefty planner. I feel like this would work. And now this is my business planner. This is a common planner, by the way. Both of these planners are Sterling ink planners. They are 2026, so they're dated. But this one is a little different. This one's a B6 full year common planner. Now I admit when I first heard of the Sterling ink common planner, my assumption was they are the A5 size. And then when I bought them, I said, wow, they are tiny. This is a B6. This is an A5. B6, A5. Very small, very different, a whole different approach and aesthetic to planning. So let me I'll walk you through a little bit of how I started to set this up. I just kind of sectioned off my business goals. This is only business. This is nothing else. But I haven't even discussed like set up that part. This is a tracker for videos that I upload into YouTube. So for every X, that's a video that I've uploaded for the month. And I know it's not realistic for me to even think of uploading a video every day. So I'm shooting for at least 3 a week. As you can see, these are Plan With Me's. These are unboxings. And some of these are like talking videos of like different lessons I've learned as a teacher. And this is, if I look, monthly setup. So like, January setup is there. I'm only going to do one monthly setup, only one monthly setup video a month. So that's why it's 1X. But I'm trying to use this as an overall tracker for all the videos I post, which is pretty cool. So far it's working. It's not so visually aesthetic. It's not very color coded, I'm just starting out in the common planner style with using this type of paper, which I believe they said is like Tomoyo River paper. So it's very thin and it's very different compared to the like Happy Planner GSM paper that I'm just used to using those types. So here's for the month of January, and these are like in general the goals that I have to do for January. And then this is the month of January. So I did start a little bit of decorating. I used just some Cocoa Daisy stickers because they're smaller. I looked at the Happy Planner. I have lots of Happy Planner stickers, and I think I have Live Love Posh and Keleva Plan stickers, but they're so big. And I realized that for these Sterling ink planners I have, that one's an N. That one's the N, I think the travel planner, and this is the common planner, but it's the B6. I think you've got to get definitely much smaller stickers. So anything related to business is what I do here. So for example, vision board work, 10 lives, schools 10 a.m., different like kind of meetings that I have, like a 10 a.m. call, a 3 to 4:30 vision call, 10 a.m. live. So you can see Wednesdays is like a busy day for me with my online business. And then, you know, different, just I try to like map out only things related to my business. And then it's like every month I'll be adding. So here's the month of January. And you have a small little box here, a small vertical box to like for each day of the week, and then a one page just to give an overall view. So that's what I've been doing. And it kind of works. I don't know. It's very big. For me right now, it just looks very busy. The layout in general, because it's so small, everything's very compact. And I have been working on writing much smaller, but you know, I use it for like ideas, and like as ideas come across with my work, that's when I add it down. I add those down on the page. Certain things that I need to record that I can't forget. So I try to write that here. Is it working? I guess it's working. So here's what I did for next week. I already started the setup for next week. And you can see I decided to try a different layout, see how this would work. I'm working on something called a traffic challenge, and these are the things that need to be done for it. And these are just the different, this is what basically has to be done every single day. My goal is to make sure every box is checked by the end of next week. So you could see I have my business taxes. So it's, again, really specifically related to business. So that's pretty cool. And then what I did I decorate every week? No, I just decorated the month of January with some stickers. Maybe I might use some highlighters to section off spaces. I don't know. I'm playing with the layouts and seeing how that works. But let me show you what the notes page looks like. So in the back, if you're new to Common Planner, then, you know, their monthly is in the front. Then you have the weeklies in the middle. And then you have in the back are blank pages that you can use for anything. And this is the full Common Planner, so you have 365, no, not even that. You have 365 single pages to use. So I put a little notes tab, and I basically date them, and it's just my notes. It's one page a day. Sometimes there are ideas that come up as the day goes, so I don't really like have like a specific setup here yet. Right now, here's what I did. I wanted to list some specific targets for the month of January. I have 2 weeks left. There's a few things that I still want to make sure I do for my business. So that's why I decided to do a grid here. YouTube, January 2025. And there's some ideas that I want to work on for here. So I'm just going to kind of list them. But I'm going to try to do like one a day for, you know, like let's say, and the reason I decided to do one a day for each day of the week is because the weekly pages, it's a small amount of space, and it's only one extra page. So I felt like it wasn't enough. So what I want to do instead, as you can see, I just thought I could use these as extra, you know, pages, but I'd have to mark them with like a little sticker. But I mean, it's sturdy. Is it helping me? I will let you know again in 1 month. By the end of January, I'll be using them, but then I will definitely let you know at the end of the month. But again, the one that is truly my savior is my folio checklist planner. This checklist planner has really like definitely stepped up the game for me in terms of being really, I feel like it's not productivity. It's just like, you know, accomplishing tasks and using visually being able to see everything that I'm able to do in the entire day is helping me a lot. So let me know how you guys have like kind of created your little Franken system for your planning needs. I'm so curious. I see just different systems that individuals are using you know, all the time, and people are always revising. So I just felt like I wanted to give you guys a little update on my system and how things are working out for me. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure to subscribe and just, you know, hit the like button if this is something you found interesting. It does help my channel to kind of grow, and I look forward to talking to you guys later. Bye.